Alright guys, this is part 2 of free-to-play endgame goals and achievement. So in the first part we did realistic free-to-play endgame goals, which I was talking about between 2 and 5 years of gameplay. Now in this video we're going to talk about unrealistic free-to-play endgame goals. I'm talking about 5+ years of to achieve some of these goals. You can argue with the timeline with some of them, depending on if you focus 100% on one of these goals. But obviously, if you try to do all of them together, it's going to take you 5+ years to do all of them. So, we're going to start with the first one. Well, number 5. So number 5 is the easiest one. So I started the last video, and I said that Watcher was an easy one of the endgame goal, and I said it'd take about 2 years. Now we're gonna talk about the other one, and the other one is Chaos Dragon. So Chaos Dragon is a lot harder to get than Watcher, because when you do L events, you only get 1 medal, while Watcher you get 3 medals, unless you're not Castle 25. And unless you're not doing, obviously, Monster Hunt. Monster Hunt is 1 medal per event for Chaos Dragon and Watcher. So, as you can see, this is a 3.5-year-old account. I'm about 100 medals from maxing out Chaos Dragon. I have been, that has been one of my focus on this game, doing the L events for that. I'm thinking it's going to take me 4.5 years to max this out. But I'm thinking that most free-to-play players that play long-term and that casually will get some Chaos Dragon medals by doing, let's say that they train troops when it's a 3 medal 24-hour. That's a great way to do it. So I'm thinking that for an average free-to-play player, it's going to take 5 to 6 years to max out Chaos Dragon. So there's a lot of strategies for that. Obviously, you need to pay attention to L events on a daily basis. Whenever you log in, just look at the L event. If it's a Chaos Dragon, you need to figure out if it's a Chaos Dragon, and then you need to figure out, well, do I have the resources? Do I have the speed up? Do I have the food, the gold? Do I have the tokens? Do I have the energy? So you need a little bit of strategy to get this. It's the same thing as Watcher, except it's longer. You need to do way more events. And then there's the obviously the 24-hour challenge. I would say that on average you get a nearly like every other day there's a Chaos Dragon challenge. It can be troops, it can be research. Maybe less than every other day. Let's say 1 out of 3 days there's a Chaos Dragon. So I mean, if you have the resources, you can choose. You can pick and choose whenever you want to get those 3 medals. It's a great way to get your Chaos Dragon to gold. So that was number 5. Now we're gonna go to number 4, and number 4. It's a little bit like in the previous video where I said, well, one of the goals was to get all combat research Toneless. So now the second portion is to get all Toneless research unlocked. So basically economy, including the gem harvesting, defense, which is not that great, but I mean, it's Toneless. At one point you're gonna run out of tomes because you don't get a lot as free-to-play players. So you might do some of those research. Military all the way to Fury, because this is with tomes, so they're not Toneless. Monster Hunt all the way to level 5. Upgrade defense, another one that you can do just to complete L events. Upgrade military, it's a hard one for the bigger army too. It's a big research. It's great. And then army leadership for the debuffs takes a long time. Military command all the way to the bottom. These Fury research and hidden talent, I would suggest to do them with Techno Labs once you're done with the debuff. They take a lot of resources and a lot of speed up. And then you have familiar. Familiar is completely toneless all the way to the bottom, although I would say that when you get there, I mean, they're not really that useful, especially those two. You're gonna max out your familiar really easily, and then the cost, I mean, pack 4 is what you're looking for. The rest, I would say, do them for L events and so on. Familiar Battle is the last tree where you have Toneless Research. All of these below, they all require tomes. But the Familiar Battle, all the way to Battle Slot 3, it's tomeless. And then all of these, all the way to 7, are tomeless. As soon as you hit 7, the next ones, they will cost you some tomes. So this is, I would say this is something that takes 6 to 7 years maybe. Maybe around 5 to 6 years. I know that Brendo Free-to-Play is closing in on Toneless Research. He's a 6-year-old account, something like that. But the thing is, he started way earlier, and it's now really, it's easier now with Techno Labs, with a lot of speed up. With I mean, we have the Adventure Log, we have Vergeway. Well, yeah, Vergeway. We have the Trial by Fire. There's way many options to get speed up. I mean, when he started, he didn't have the transmutation lab, and now we have also a sense going all the way to 28. So there's way more ways to get speed up for research. So that's number 4, all Toneless Research. It's not hard to do. You just need to take the time and get the speed ups to do that. It just takes a long time. Now let's go to number 3. All right, and number 3 is, so in the previous one I said, well, when you're researching with tomes, there are some power spikes. I said one of the power spikes was all the counters completed, and then another one was to get 1 and then 2 sigil equipment slot. And then I said something that Familiar Battle getting Familiar Battle slot number 4. So all of these takes between like 4,000 to, I believe, like 7,000 or 6,000 tomes. Now, number 3 is unlocking a full tome, a full research tree that requires tomes. So I got 3 for you guys. This is not something you cannot do all of them. That's not, I mean, this is an achievement, but for free to play, it doesn't make sense. If you're free to play and you want to unlock a full research 3, you need to focus on 1. So that means either Familiar Battle, Sigil, or Gears, T5. And all of these guys, they will cost you between 18 to 20,000 tomes. So basically, unlocking T5, I'd say that anyone with a brain would do all those research except for Siege, and they would skip also a Central Command if you're free to play, because adding 10 battalions is nice if you're rally lead, but if you're free to play, you're not a rally lead, so you don't need this. You don't need to spend the tomes. I know it's only 13, but the level 2 is a little bit more, 3, 4, 5. So you're probably saving, I think it's like 400 tomes, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. So T5 probably takes around 6 to 7 years, depending on what you do, depending on what you do with your gems. Do you buy tomes? Do you use your gems for gears? There's a lot of ways to use gems. You can boost troops. But if you want to go for a full research tree of T5 Familiar Battles and Sigils, you will most likely need to buy some tomes, especially once you run out of Toneless Research. So that's something that I think should take between 6 to 8 years, depending on the type of gameplay you're doing. Now, nowadays, we have Trial by Fire. Right now, so I'm at stage 3051 and I'm still getting 40 tomes a day. I don't know where this stops. I have a feeling it stops at 5,000, but we'll just never know. At 5,000, we're talking about 42, we're talking about 4,200 stage. So that's basically 80 stage where you're 80 sets of 50 stage where you're getting 10 tomes. So that's 800, that would be 800, 800, 800, 800. So 3,000 tomes. I'm guessing we're gonna get 3,000 tomes for this. That would be incredible. Obviously, as you can see, I'm lagging behind. This is getting harder, and I'm sure it's gonna get harder. So, but 3,000 tomes is a great way to get those achievements. Getting T5, that's one of them. Getting battle slot, familiar battle slot 5 is one of them. It's around 20,000 tomes. And then getting a full 6 equipment slot. So basically you got helmet, armor, legs, main end, off end, and accessory. Unlock, so 6. That's basically all 8 piece of gear, but accessory accounts for 3. So that's the full sigil tree. I would say that it's probably not the one for free to play, because this is very useful for WoW, for Dragon Arena, for Baron, Emperor, but that's about it. It's, if you're doing all those events and you're free to play, I mean, you're gonna be spending your time healing and training troops. If you have a small comp that you can hide, this is great. This is a great way to help your guild. But I would suggest familiar battles is nice for trapping, for running darkness, and T5 is, I mean, T5 is, it's something else on its own. Everyone, if you have T5, everyone knows you unlock T5. So that's one way to do it. All right, so that was number 3. Now we're gonna get to the grind, the really hard to get stuff. So in the previous video, I said that it was realistic to expect within 5 years, and really on the edge of 5 years, to get level 60 gold equipment. And like I said, I'm not talking about a level 55. I'm talking about level 60, the big dogs, the best equipment. And I'm not talking about champion. I'm not done yet. Maybe we're gonna talk about champion. You know what? We will talk about champion. But now I'm talking about a full Mythic Set mix set. So as you can see, this is 3.5-year-old account. I know some people probably have better gear, free to play. You have to do the bargain store. You have to save your holy stars. You have to spend some gems on the tycoon. Those are great ways. You can also do monster hunt bus, although monster hunt and chest are not a great way to get equipment. But Mythic would be at number 2. If you look at my my set, this is easy to get to Mythic, and then this becomes harder. These are very hard. The Blight Ring is somewhat easy, only needs 7 piece. You could swap the Skull Crusher for a Great Sword. This is kind of easy to get to Mythic. It only costs, you only need 4 rares. But I've never really focused on that, so that's why. And I mean, it's a subpar equipment. I'm going for the big deal. I'm going for Skull Crusher. But for this challenge, it would be easier to get the Frostwing Greatsword on the main end. All of these pieces of equipment, all these 4 here are very hard to get. We're talking about 10, 10, and 13. So if you get a great sword and the mitts, this section is easy. Now the Blight Ring with only 7, it's somewhat easy, and you can get the Toxin from Labyrinth. This piece of equipment, the Talon, only 8 piece. I currently have 3. Obviously you also need the Embers. So the Ember is gonna be it's gonna be hard, but you need to save your Embers for your mix set and not do like I did, where I put some Embers on my research set because I wanted to speed up my research, which is something that I did. We're talking about, there's 12 Embers locked on those flutes, on those 3 flutes. But at the end of the day, as you can see, my equipment, I'm not ready to get to Mythic after 3.5 years, so it's fine. I'm gonna get the Embers. But there are, like I said, there are Two easy piece of equipment, two somewhat medium. These are hard to get, and then this is gonna be crazy hard. So this is, I don't know when we're gonna see a full Mythic free-to-play players with full level 60. So I'm not talking about below level 60. I'm thinking it's something that's gonna that takes like 8 years maybe. I don't know if I'm still gonna be uploading videos in 5 years when I hit that 8-year-old gameplay. I don't know if the game's gonna still be online, but I'm thinking it takes about 8 years currently at the pace we're at. Obviously, like I said, well, I mean, the thing is, Trial by Fire is giving us some rare materials, but as you can see in my mix set, none of them are can be obtained from Trial by Fire, except for, let's say, you swap Frostwing for Skull Crusher. But same thing, you gotta save your Holy Stars for when it's not Frostwing, because Frostwing doesn't give you rare material. So you gotta make sure. So this would be a good one, especially for Skull Crusher and the Blight Ring, and also the Frostwing, even though I don't like Frostwing. But yeah, so you need to do that. You need to save your gems for Bargain Store. You need to save your gems for Tycoon also, because the cups are a pain in the ass to get. So I think this takes about 8 years to max out, to get a full Mythic mix set level 60. Now the number one, is, some people will say it's easy. I think I'm gonna get the number one eventually on one of my accounts, but not on this one. And the last one is Champion. And if you've seen my video about Champion gear, I've said that it's impossible to get a full gold set of Champion completely free to play. And I'm still gonna say this. Number one is one piece of Champion equipment to Mythic grade. So, and there's a couple reasons for that. So first of all, as you can see, I got the mains. The mains is one of the easiest things to do for Champion. The hardest thing is to get the secondary. And the reason for that is you can get some mains from events, events in the news, from Bargain Store. You can get the Crimson Chest. You can get mains from Exchange Extravaganza. The problem is the secondary can only be obtained with Champion Chest. And there's not a lot of way to get Champion Chest. Guildfest is one of them. You can get Champion Chest on Tycoon when it's Voodoo Shaman. You can also get Champion Chest in events in the news. And then one of the KVK rewards is also 3 Champion Chests, which is not a lot. So this is why it's hard. And then also you need a lot of embers. So I will probably try to get a Mythic Champion. And obviously I'm talking, this is a 6-piece. Obviously Champion, let's go to event equipment. This is not the easiest one. The easiest one is the legs, the boots. Basically boots only cost 5 and then 15 embers. And obviously some the accessories, I believe, are the ones that are, is it the Fates? Are they all the same? 1441 Valor, yeah, 1441. They're all the same. Okay, so the accessories are the hardest ones to get. The legs are the easiest one by nearly a factor of 3. And then I'm working on the often for the training speed. Now the thing is, on this account, I'm trying to get a good account, so I am not I'm not gonna try the meme way to get this, but let me switch this account for Langer 5. So on Langer 5, this is my smallest account, but I got a lucky drop, and I'm at about the same weight for Champion. So I'm working on the Champion Light, and I have one more purple main than on my than on 2 Outlander, but I'm lacking a lot of secondary. And as you can see, I have nearly 500,000 gems. So what we're gonna see in the future from this account is I'm waiting for the Voodoo Shaman Tycoon rotation, and I'm gonna spend all my gems. I'm gonna buy 1,000, something like 1,000 tokens, and I'm gonna go all in on Voodoo Shaman. I'm gonna get some mains, I'm gonna get some Gray Embers, I'm gonna get some champion chests, and we're gonna see where that puts me. But I will be getting purple champion light, and then I'm gonna start to work on gold champion light, and then we'll see if I can get mythic champion light on this account on Langer 5. This is a pledge that I'm making for you guys. I will be trying to get this extremely unrealistic free-to-play endgame goal of getting 1 piece of mythic champion equipment. So, alright guys, that's about it for the video. Let me know if you think there are some. Obviously, I could go and I could say, well, Advanced Wonder Battle, it's 80 something, 90,000 tomes. I mean, come on guys, this is obviously more than unrealistic. So I'm talking about unrealistic that can be achieved. So let me know in the comments below if there are other unrealistic but achievable endgame goals for free-to-play players. Are you trying to get some of them? As always, guys, just like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, leave a comment. I read all of them. I don't reply to the ones where you're asking me to give you one of my account because I don't want to. Alright guys, thanks for watching and see you later.